Hello, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. How are you? I am over the moon. Over the moon. I got a message from my brother in law all the way from Texas. And when I saw it, I wanted to cry a little bit. I was like so happy to see him. So, my beautiful Fricky, thank you so much for your message. It means the world to me. Thank you, thank you. Mwah. So, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, and my beautiful diamond beauties, how are you doing today? How are you doing? I am so good. I was bitten by a spider and it all went okay, but today it all flew up on the other side and I had a fever. I was like, what's going on? And my 5 o'clock showed Soul of a Diamond. I had to sit down. So I normally don't sit down. So I am standing. But if you do see, I will go off the screen. I will just get my chair near and drop my table a little bit. But I am now good to go. I'm good to go. So I've got beautiful guests today. One of our beautiful guests, I don't know if she will be able to join us, but she's 18 hours without Wi-Fi. She is devastated because she had once cancelled because she could not make it. And she was so excited because this was 4 months in the making that she is coming today. And now she cannot enter because of the Wi Fi. But my beautiful Becky, you are amazing. I love you. Thank you for all that you are doing. You are serving the world. You have helped 400 authors get to bestseller status. Through storytelling, you emphasize people's lives. You tell their values, share their values, and that's truly amazing. You, my beautiful Becky, are amazing, and I love you. So, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen, I have two beautiful guests, and they are, oh, they're going to blow your socks off. And if you are a regular Power Hour TV show listener, you would have seen them already because they came also with the money summit that I had, the 2 hour summit. So I'm truly excited. Both of them, when I had the cancellation for one lady from the Diamond Beauties and one gentleman, both of them said they can come again. It was like truly divine, truly divine. I want also to say imagination. What does imagination means for you? My title for today's show is The Magic of Imagination. Remember when you were a child? You could play a doctor, and then you can play a teacher, and then you can be an astronaut, and you could have done all the actions, and you can just enjoy yourself. Why not still do it while you're an adult? We can really learn a lot of lessons just by looking at children. And just remember, your inner child never left you. He or she is still inside of you. Sometimes just bring her or him out and enjoy. With my Monarch Butterfly program, that is one of my actions that I have to tick off. What fun did I have per day? So every day, have a little bit of fun. Think fun out because when as an adult, you don't use your imagination to have fun. And then you can have pockets of happiness with the fun. So I want to take a few deep breaths and then I'm going to play my beautiful sponsors video. I am so thankful to my sponsor, Ted, that have sponsored today's video. I am over the moon, over the moon. So, are you ready to take a few breaths with me? Here we go. Exhale. Another one in. Exhale. Last one in. I hope you enjoy that. Breathing is so important, and with breathing, it brings you in the now if you concentrate on that. So, here is my beautiful Ted's message. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ted McClyman, co-founder and vice president at DreamSmart Behavioral Solutions. Did you know you have superpowers? I mean, you do. People are amazing, and everybody's got their own unique set of superpowers, but they generally don't know what they are, and they never seem to know how to manage them. Your superpowers are what we call your natural behavior. Your natural behavior is who you are. It's how you process information, communicate, spend money, and build relationships. It's your default behavior. How you manage your behavioral superpowers impacts everything you do in life. So it's critical for you to discover, uncover, and unleash who you are, or your natural behavior. Join us at DreamSmart Behavioral Solutions, and we'll teach you how.
Wow, I love it. I love it. Ted, you made the video on short notice. How did you feel making the video?
Once I got into it and realized I've really gotten grayer, but it's you've got to get into the mindset that you're talking to somebody in front of you. You believe in what you're doing, and you're going to help them change. That makes it a little bit easier. After that, it's technical.
Yes. So I've got something special for you as well, because you are my sponsor. I've got a tiger. I call it a tiger that I will be playing during the show. And you didn't even know this is also coming your way. So here are your tiger.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, Amanda is back. Amanda, can I bring you in? Perfect. There you are.
There you go.
Oh, Amanda, I was so stressed a little bit because you're not here yet and we wanted to start. So I'm very happy to be here. So may I ask you, Amanda, can you please introduce yourself?
Sure, I'd be so happy to. And I have to apologize too. Somehow, I think the internet there's something in the internet today, because I know one of your other guests couldn't make it because of the internet, and I seem to be having internet issues too. So I apologize. But yes, I am Amanda Burton. I am a leadership coach and wealth mindset mentor. I reside in a small little town just north of Boston, Massachusetts, in the United States, on the coastline, and it is my dream location and my dream house that I have, and so it's so awesome. And I work with women in particular, but men as well, but women, and I help them to lead from the inside out, and achieve their dreams and their goals with passion, purpose, and profits. And you can, I think you've already put this out there, Sanet, but you can reach me on social media, in particular on LinkedIn at Amanda P. Burton, but other platforms as well. So yes, it's such a joy and a pleasure to be here with you, Sanet and Ted. I've been looking forward to it. So thank you.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. So, Amanda, I don't know if you saw Ted's video, but I would love for you to quickly see. Can I play it again? Ted, may I play it again? Yeah, we go.
Hi, I'm Ted McClyman, co-founder and vice president at DreamSmart Behavioral Solutions. Did you know you have superpowers? I mean, you do. People are amazing, and everybody's got their own unique set of superpowers, but they generally don't know what they are, and they never seem to know how to manage them. Your superpowers are what we call your natural behavior. Your natural behavior is who you are. It's how you process information, communicate, spend money, and build relationships. It's your default behavior. How you manage your behavioral superpowers impacts everything you do in life. So it's critical for you to discover, uncover, and unleash who you are, or your natural behavior. Join us at at Dream Smart Behavioral Solutions, and we'll teach you how.
There you are. So my beautiful Amanda, your camera's a little bit fuzzy. I don't know if you saw the messages I sent you. So if you can just make sure it's a little bit, then I will go over to Ted. My beautiful Ted, I will bring you back in the studio just now, okay? My beautiful Ted, if you can just please introduce yourself, and also can you tell us a little bit about the video that you have done for us?
Yeah, I have been working with people, and primarily people in money, my entire professional life. Started as an officer in the United States Marine Corps, where I was introduced to traditional leadership concepts. Obviously, behavior modification and getting people to perform and doing the right things was key, but a subset of that was money. And I found that we could train people well, they would do great things, but they had sometimes strange relationships with money because we actually never taught them how to use it. And it caused problems, the retention and morale and domestic issues, security clearances and the like. So throughout my experience in the military, which included a tour at the United States Naval Academy teaching economics, an aide to the Secretary of the Navy with for financial planning, where I worked with our political class, it became very obvious to me that as humans, we're just not real good with money, and we're not really good with managing behavior because we don't teach any of that. We just kind of assume that you're going to kind of show up who you are, and it's all going to work out by trial and error. Well, once I retired, I opened a couple of financial planning practices. The second one was one built around my first book. And it was all based on behavior because I learned very early that success with money is about understanding and managing who you are, knowing your natural behavior. And a subset of that is your money temperament, how you interact with money, spend money, and make your decisions. And what I applied into the decisions and what we're talking about, and this is the company I'm with right now, Dream Smart Behavioral Solutions, we formed this company to address this problem. That behavior matters all the time, in every situation. Behavior is different than personality. And we know through research and doing a lot of study that most of how we think, act, feel, and behave is natural and unique to us. Actually, about 90+%. The remainder is learned behavior, which is situational. We also found doing our work that natural behavior tends to be very stable over time. I mean, we've all taken personality tests and they tell you that make sure you take it again and again and again because it's impacted by what's going on in your life at that time. But your behavior tends to be very stable. You're still the same person, you just have in a different environment. So we started moving forward with Dream Smart Behavioral Solutions to start attacking the problem that we are a performance company that works to improve individual and group performance by using behavioral tools and technologies. We believe that performance is a behavioral issue. And then the subset of that is the money.
So Ted, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about that, but I have also done something else for you, and then I will also bring Amanda in, but I think we will be moving to the side. Yes, there you are.
Oh,
So
perfect.
we want to shift the traditional thinking of money and financial planning from products and services to managing money temperament. This is the first time that I have heard this. It was like you blew me away. Like, phew, you blew me away.
Let me give you an example. Everybody that is on this call or this show, we're comfortable with modern technology. We're products of our century, our economy, our culture, and technology is a major significant part of that. Well, think for a second. Our brain biology has been around for 300,000 to 500,000 years. It was designed to keep us alive in the forest, to help us to get along the savannah, to cross the open part so we don't become somebody else's lunch. That's our default, staying alive and passing on our genes. But money is a new phenomenon. It's only been around for about 3,000 or 4,000 years. And our brains are very comfortable with that little walk across the savannah and not getting, well, so you can make the entire walk, and not doing taxes and dealing with credit cards and money and all the math and all that kind of good stuff. Unfortunately, in Western civilization, we assume, one, we are rational. Two, we are rational decision makers. Three, that we all understand money if you're just giving it a little bit of training. Unfortunately, how's that working out? Probably not that well. In reality, we have a thinking brain and a feeling brain. Our feeling brain is the default and it's in charge. That's the one that keeps us alive. That's the one that keeps the heart going. We're not even thinking about it. But that's also the one that when you're going through the store, buying a gift for somebody that is very, very important, you buy a bigger gift for yourself than you do for the person you're buying the gift for. You understand?
I love that.
You ever done that? Or have you ever thought with money why you tend to buy certain brands, or you go to a certain store, or you dress the way you do? Simply, we're human. We do human things with money. And most of our spending is non-conscious, automatic, and emotional. But we don't talk about that. And because we don't talk about that, we tend to get into trouble non-consciously. We're going to be talking about imagination a little bit. We imagine things. We imagine a new wardrobe. We imagine a new car, and we get into it and we drive it in our mind and we start thinking about it and we can touch it and feel it. And soon something just automatically seems to click and you end up in a car dealership and you're driving out with a vehicle you neither need nor can afford with stuff you don't even know how to work. But my gosh, your non-conscious feeling brain was in charge and loved it. So I realized that if we start moving in a more complex economy, money is critical. It's the common denominator. It's the oil that makes everything work. But you have to know how to work with it. Traditional financial literacy talks about the practical piece. How to fill out a spreadsheet, how to balance your checkbook, if you even know what a checkbook is, how to read a bank statement, how to do taxes. But it doesn't talk about how we as individuals react, believe, and interact with money and the forces that conspire against us. It's number one, our biology. I talked about that. We're just not good with money. Number two, it's our culture and belief set. Where you grew up, your dominant culture is the biggest driver of where you spend, how you spend, and what you think you need. Remember, needs are different than wants. Then finally, the rules of money are constantly changing. This is Amanda's specialty, that she knows on a daily basis there are dynamics happening that impact your life and your money, and you have to be aware of those. But most people, because they're so busy just living and trying to get to the next day and being distracted a little bit, because we are people and we like shiny objects and we go after them, that we have to sit down and sometimes get with a coach or a professional and say, wait a minute, what's truly important? What's important to you? How do we stay intact? But even beyond that, what makes you tick? What is your natural behavior? What is your natural behavior with money? Because we should design a plan that works for you, not for me. And that's what we're doing.
I love that. So we can hear a little bit more. I want to come back to Amanda. Amanda, you look beautiful. Thank you so much. It was also your birthday. Congratulations on your birthday. Did you enjoy my Afrikaans singing and then I translated to English?
Yes. That was awesome, and thank you. Yes, I try to ignore my birthday, but I do so appreciate all of the love I get on that day too. So
That's amazing. So, my beautiful Amanda, if I ask the magic of imagination, and can you relate it to money? Is there a beautiful nugget or two that you can give our viewers?
sure. Well, with imagination, it's one of it. Speaking about superpowers, I think imagination is a superpower, and it's a superpower that we all have. And it's actually a superpower we don't even need to learn, right? We just have it. We have it from birth, right? And it's amazing, and it's a gift that we have been given by our creator, right? Whoever you believe, our creator actually is, right? And because if you think about it, imagination is what creates fantasies, right? It's really that first stage of creation of anything. And so we couldn't create anything without our imagination, right? We need our imagination first, because that's what gives us that idea, that fantasy of whether it's a new car, whether it's a relationship, whether it's schooling, whatever it is, it gives us the ability and that superpower to fantasize and to envision what we would like in our life. And then we can turn that into a theory, and then we can turn that into a fact. And so whatever manifests in your world has to start with imagination. And it does start with imagination. And we all have that superpower within us to start there, imagining it, right? And so we can relate that to money, because we can imagine what wealth is for us. And we have to imagine it first before we can actually manifest it. So that to me is it's exciting, and it's motivating to think about the fact that imagination is the first step in creation of anything. And we don't have to learn how to imagine. We're born with that superpower.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And like I said, that adults can just tap into children's, see what they do, but their little child inside of them is never gone, so they can just tap in there. But my beautiful Amanda, our beautiful ladies on the Diamond Beauties have missed your training on Monday. They've missed it because they didn't come. So the summary you gave me was beautiful, because all of us think wealth, being wealthy, is being rich, but not your explanation, not your summary. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because that was truly a beautiful piece. Thank you.
Yes. So I do. So yes. So what's the difference between wealth and money, right? Wealth is, well, money is money, right? And money is important. Money gives us options. Money gives us the ability to help more people, right? So money is most definitely important. And anybody who doesn't think that money is important is a little bit mistaken, right? So it is very, very important, and we all have a drive and an urge and a need for money, right? But money's not everything, and that is for sure true, right? We can to an extent live without money, but we can't live without wealth, right? And to me, wealth includes money, but is so much bigger than money. Wealth is everything in our lives. Wealth includes things like our friends, our family, how we have fun, our spirituality, our education, our career, and our spirituality, and our philanthropy, how we give back, right? So it's and we had titled that workshop on Monday as Pie in the Sky, because I think of wealth as a pie. It looks like a pie, and each slice of pie is a different piece of the wealth pie. And money is one of those slices, but it's only a small percentage of that. And when we start thinking and envisioning and fantasizing and imagining what our life could look like and what wealth actually is to us, it's very surprising and amazing to see how money actually does come to us when we're looking at wealth from a more holistic perspective.
I love that. I tried to explain wealth to somebody. I said, if you look at your wheel of life, because she is a life coach, but she didn't make the connection with a wheel of life, because the wheel of life has got all your aspects: family, friends, fun, philanthropy, um, finances, all of them spiritual are in that wheel of life, and that is wealth. And she went, oh, that is amazing. I never thought about that. So I thought that was amazing. So, my beautiful Amanda, passion, profit, and purpose. So I know I had to put a profit supposed to be lost, because you have to know your purpose. But I had done it the way I've done it, just to mix it about so that people can hear now the explanation. You have to have purpose. You do your purpose with passion, and then you make profit. It's almost like the ikigai that I also loved. I love the Japanese ikigai, reason for being, because you also look what you love, what the world needs, and what you can get money for. So, Mo, why this beautiful 3 Ps?
Well, very interesting too, because imagination fits into that, right? Because passion is that drive you have within you. It's that excitement for life, right? And it starts with imagination, right? We imagine what makes us happy and what could make us happy, and we pursue that, right? And you can visualize just what you love and how you love in that feeling, and that's what the passion is, which then leads you to, okay, well, this is my passion, so let me put this into a theory of that this is my purpose in life, and then start turning that into the fact, right? Of and manifesting that purpose brings about that manifestation, which then leads to the profits, right? Because as you provide more and more value, as you follow your passion, follow your purpose, which is fueled by your passion, profits flow. And that's not just a theory of mine. I've proven it, and I have many clients who've proven it, and I believe that that is accessible and true for anybody, everyone. Now, it doesn't mean that it comes with no effort. We have to take action, right? You can't just sit there and fantasize and have imagination about all this money that's going to flow to you and all this happiness and a new relationship and all these things. You do that to fuel the passion, to get that drive within you, but you also have to take the action. And that's part of where the purpose comes in. And then from there will flow the profits. So
Wow. I loved it. I loved it. So first of all, Amanda, I'm going to go to Ted, and Ted is going to tell us when you go shop for milk and bread. But sure, you got to tell us. But then when we come back, I will come back to you. Will you tell us the flip the bill? I think that's the wording you use, because I didn't know about it. When you tip the bill, no, not tip the bill.
yeah, tip the bill. Tip the bill. Yes, I will. Yes,
That's it.
definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So, my beautiful Ted, can you tell us a story, please?
Oh, sure. Let's talk a little bit about you in a spending situation. And my favorite story is you're given a small task that is meaningless, but really important. And you're driving and you get a text message. You recognize who it's from, and it says, get bread and milk. Okay. All immediately, as soon as you notice that, your brain goes into overdrive. Your associative brain searches all over your hidden parts of your non-conscious to first, what is bread and what is milk? Is it goat milk, camel milk, skim milk, homogenized milk, buttermilk, boiled milk, ice cream? What is milk? Okay, so you sort that out in a millisecond. And then you do the same thing for bread: artesian bread, white bread, dark bread, flat bread, pizza dough. It goes on and on and on and on, because every culture has bread. And you magically, because you're imagining in your mind's eye, you see whatever you represent to be milk and whatever you represent to be bread. and you start moving non-consciously to your favorite store. You don't even think about it. You just kind of magically get there, and you park the way you always have, and you move in the door you always used to. In the States, it's on the right-hand side because we drive on the right-hand side of the road, and all traffic moves to the right. And you go in, you say, this isn't going to take long. I just got a couple of minutes. It's a short couple of things. And immediately you're being overpowered with sights and sounds and colors and smells of delicious food that comes from the bakery that coincidentally is near the door. And the new stuff that you just have to have because you have to. And you don't really need a cart, buggy, or whatever you happen to call it, but you need something to put your loaf of bread and container of milk. So you grab whatever's there, and you don't think about it because you always do that. And then you start meandering through the store, and they tend to put you through in such a way that you always go by the highest cost, most or least healthy items that look delicious. And your non-conscious brain is imagining what it is to have those warm, delicious smelling croissants and bagels with homemade peanut butter or cream cheese. And they just magically flow from the aisle to your cart. You drive forward and you move again, and your brain non-consciously goes, I've always liked fill in the blank. And you automatically know that it's on that part of the store, and it automatically seems to go into the cart. You weave your way through a few times. You see the end caps. That's the end of the aisle where they have all the stuff that's on quote unquote sale. And you've never seen this, or you've always wanted to try this. Or in your non-conscious, it goes, you heard that in a TV program with a sponsor you really respect, and your imagination has already determined that you need this. And again, you touch it, you smell it, you see it, you own it. Well, this drill happens for a while, and you finally get to the front, either self-checkout or with help, and you start pushing this load of merchandise to your car. You load it in, drive home. Again, not thinking, because our brains work in such a way it knows where you live, even though you got a GPS. And you go there without even thinking about turning or thinking about doing things, because we have superpowers. It makes it happen. And you get home and you start inventorying what you have, your treats, your gotta haves, your shoulda have, you shouldn't have, but you do haves. You look at the amount of money you spent and you go, oh my gosh, I think I just broke the budget. And somebody yells in the back, I need the milk and bread. And you look and you go, oh, I didn't get it. That's a trip of being people very human walking through a store. But it happens with food. It happens with clothing. It happens with everything we do. And our nemesis is the modern marketing industry that knows us. They know us better than we do. They know how we think. We know our non-conscious. We know how humans react. We know the buttons to push, and it's all non-conscious. And that's why you need to talk to somebody like Amanda that goes, did you know you do this? And as your coach, I can probably put you on a path to make you a little bit more aware that you don't do this. For example, this is what I used to tell my clients as a financial advisor. Go to a store you don't know. Make a list. Go in the left-hand door. Go to the left and go right to the dairy aisle. What's usually next to the dairy aisle? Bread. 2 things. You don't need a bag. Left hand, right hand, proceed to the checkout, go home. I just saved you $250. You do that once a week. You're a millionaire. Go talk to Amanda.
I love it. I love it, Ted. Thank you so much. So, Amanda, we are talking to you now. Please tell us, flip the ball, and then tell us what would you tell your clients if they know, like explain, they just want to spend and they really need to take the money in.
Yeah, sure. And one of the things that your story reminds me of too. Yeah, one of the things that reminds me, Ted, with your story is one of my coaches at when I first started with them, and actually he was a wealth coach. And he said to me, Amanda, I want you for the next 7 days to brush your teeth with the opposite hand, right? Because we so frequently just, we don't even think about it. We brush our teeth with the same hand every single time. And he said, I want you to be conscious, and I want you to brush your teeth with the other hand for 7 full days. Oh my gosh, was that difficult, right? And but it highlights the fact that we just do things without even thinking. So our natural behaviors drive how we approach the world. Our habits, as how we move within the world, and they're good for us, right? Because it makes it so that things are not, we don't have to consciously think about each and every little detail about how do I brush my teeth every day, right? We just unconsciously do it. But it's when you realize how unconscious you are with some of those things and try to be conscious about it and do it another way, like going to a different store or going in the other door or driving on the other side of the road, right? Then you realize, oh my gosh, my programming is how I'm approaching life. And if I could just change a little bit of how I approach things and be more conscious about it, the whole world changes, right? And maybe some things you don't necessarily need to change, but just your awareness of how unconsciously you do some things will bring up a whole new light, right? So I love, yeah, I love that. So yeah, so tip the bill. This is another thing that my first, and this is another thing that that same wealth coach who told me to brush my teeth with the other hand. This was something from him where he said, okay, I challenge you to tip the bill. Now, what does tip the bill mean? It means, so in the United States, where we very typically, when you go out for a meal, right, we tip a lot in the United States. That any service is usually we give a tip, but very, very standard is that we tip within a restaurant, right? And sort of over time, the expectation is that you tip 15% of the bill. So whatever the total was, 15% of that, right? Some people are very adamant. I subtract the taxes and all this kind of thing, and I do 15% of that, whatever, 15%. So what tip the bill is, instead of calculating some kind of percentage of the bill, you take whatever the bill was. So say it was $100, and then you add that as the tip. It's $100, and then you add that up, so you pay $200. So you're doubling what the cost of the bill was. So his challenge to me was to tip the bill. I was like, I can't tip the bill, and besides, why would I tip the bill? And because it's not the standard. The first time I did this, I went out to a steakhouse. I was with my family. So it was myself, my 2 stepdaughters, and my fiance. And we were at a steakhouse, which isn't necessarily a cheap dinner, but I had decided that I was going to tip the bill that evening. And so when we got to the bill, I think the bill was $300. We'll say $300. So not a really cheap bill, but I said, okay, I'm tipping the bill. So I got the bill. I'm paying for my family. I wrote $300 as the tip, totaled it up $600. My stepdaughter looked over at me. She's like, Amanda, I think you made a mistake. I said, no, I didn't make a mistake. She said, but you doubled the bill. Like, you don't leave that much, right? That's not what you leave. I think you made a mistake. I said, no, I'm doing this. And so she picked up the bill and she showed it to her dad and said, look, Amanda's doing this. She's spending so much money. And I said, no, this is what I'm going to do. So we got up to leave and started walking out of the restaurant. My family was all laughing at me about what I had just done and sort of, why did you spend that much money, blah, blah, blah. Then as we're crossing the street over to our car, our server comes running out of the restaurant. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My family looked at me and were like, wow. And they got it. They understood. We had just made someone's night, maybe made someone's week, maybe made someone's month by being just unconditionally generous, right? She'd been a good server, but just being just absolutely generous and giving. So that became a tradition in our family. We now tip the bill whenever we go out, including my stepdaughter, well, she likes to go out with friends for breakfast at one of the little restaurants in town, and she will always tip the bill when she goes out to that restaurant. And I will say from there, that's now our tradition. And from that time, from when I started that tradition of tipping the bill, I saw my income increase. It doubled over the several months after that I had started that tradition, right? And in our subconscious mind, right, we're programmed to think, if I'm tipping the bill every time, if I'm doubling the amount that I'm spending every time I spend money, shouldn't my money go down, not up? But quite the opposite occurs. And so that is the practice of tipping the bill.
I love it. It's the first time I heard it. I love it. I love it very much. So, Amanda, I know there's a little bit of noise there by you, but we still can hear you beautifully. Can you tell us what will your advice be for a client that really wants to look at the expenditure and see how she cannot just spend and don't have enough money for the rest of the month? What will your advice be?
Well, obviously, we need to have a budget. We need to be conscious that we need to have enough money for the month, right? So we very, very intentional. That's what I would say is one, intentional, very intentional of what are my priorities in life? What am I focusing on right now? And is everything that I'm spending, is that going towards those priorities, right? But then also too, being forgiving of oneself, right? And realizing, you can't beat yourself up about this, right? And you know what? I would also say use some imagination. Imagine what it is that you want. Feel what it would feel like to have that in your life, right? And what it is you really, really do want in your life. Feel that feeling, imagine it, fantasize about it, and then start taking some actions towards it, right? And that's what I help clients do, right? Imagine what you want in your life, feel it, see it, act as if it is yours, right? And it's amazing what happens when you come from that perspective, as opposed to the perspective of lack and that you can't have, right? So one of the things we often think that we have to have before we can do and before we can be, right? We have to have something in order to do something which will allow us to be who we want to be. And it's actually the opposite. Be who you want to be who you are, which will then drive you to do what you need to do to have what you or to have what you need to have.
I love that. I actually love that. So thank you so much, Amanda. So Ted, what can you tell us a little bit more about what you are actually helping people to realize? Because everybody knows about money. Everybody is dealing with money. Even kids see parents, and we all know about money. It's not a secret. But for the life of me, and I must say for the life of me, I tried to get for our summit. The two of you were on our summit. I wanted to get I tried to get 12 people to join us. Only 4 did. Nobody wants to talk about money. And then on Monday's show, I was like, oh, one person pitch up, but we all need money, or we all need to think different way about money, so that we cannot say that we don't have enough. We must get out of that energy of lack and just be positive, and not, I will say positive, but change the mindset. So what else can you tell us? Please give
Oh,
us some of your wisdom.
great question. Great question. I've got a team member, Kenyatta Turner, who has really helped me greatly in understanding the entire construct of natural behavior. And she and I work together, and I work the money piece. She works the broader piece. But I had to unlearn some things. I am classically trained in money, economics, and I was a classically trained financial advisor, which means, one, I know everything. And if you come to see me, I will probably have a very canned approach, and it's a one size fits all methodology. And honestly, my whole mission in life was to sell product. And it took me a while, a couple of years in the industry, to understand that I was very, very uncomfortable with that construct. And it became evident during particularly bad economic times that people are scared, people are emotional, people don't really understand the stuff that I made my profession about. I found I was the exception, not the norm. And I was starting to look at the data, and I found that most people aren't very good with money. Most people are not successful. And I started asking why. Well, after a lot of research and 3 books and whatever, and now starting with Dream Smart Academy and working with Kenyatta and some others, the first thing you need to understand is you are you. You are absolutely unique. And the essence of you is how you behave. We call it your natural behavior. From your natural behavior, everything emanates. And there are a number of different factors. Like here, we're talking about imagination. Well, we have one of the factors that we actually assess. It's the creative factor. How creative are you? And we found that where you are between being anchored or very concrete and creative, which is way out there someplace else, there's a spectrum, and you fall along that spectrum, and that's how you process information. That's how you imagine. That's how you see your life. So we started out and we discovered, and this is one of many of the factors that we use with regard to natural behavior, that when we're talking about getting people to move forward and imagine where they are and where they want to be, first you have to baseline who they are and where they are. And that's different than the traditional personality test, Myers-Briggs, DISC, or something like that. We use one that is scientific, but it basically shows how you naturally be, your default, who you are on the inside. Well, once I understand who you are on the inside, your natural behavior, then I can chunk down a bit. And let's say one of the factors is creativity, or how well your ability to imagine a better world, a better life, a better program. If you're a hardcore anchored person, you like numbers and facts and focus and being very orthodox and not, coloring outside the lines. Okay, I need to know that, as opposed to somebody who's incredibly creative, where they're comfortable with brainstorming and new ideas and new approaches. I can't treat them both the same. The person that is very orthodox is going to want to have a very structured approach. A person that is much more creative wants to have a little bit more free flow, but there have to be guardrails. I have to remember that the person is orthodox. If we come out of the lines a little bit, they may be uncomfortable, but they may miss opportunities. On the other hand, if the person is very creative and they're all over the place, they may put themselves in trouble without even knowing it. So we start with benchmarking who you are, because you need a one-size-fits-you approach and strategy. You have to understand yourself before you can step forward. And it's ironic, I find, that most of the people we'd like to get our advice from, or people we respect, our immediate family, are often wired incredibly differently than we are. We've all got somebody in our immediate family that when they get on a roll and they're talking about something or imagining or whatever, they're someplace and you may be very uncomfortable where they're going. And you just kind of shake your head and say, I don't believe that Amanda was going to leave her corporate job, get rid of everything, start a business with no background. What is she thinking? And Amanda's going, no problem. I got this. Okay? Because she's a creative. However, if I gave her the advice for somebody that was not suited for her natural behavior, it would not have worked. So that's the first part. We call it discover, uncover, and then unleash your natural behavior. It's very liberating. The subset of that is money. And I'll just use one trait that we all know, spender saver. I don't care if you're a spender. I don't care if you're a saver. That is not the point. The point is you need to know. And all it means is that emotionally you get gratification and worth by being in either one of those camps. When you're going through that store, man, you're full of dopamine and everything's happy and serotonin and life is good. And your neurons are firing. And then you're going, I wish I had my posse with me and I had more people and we go through this experience. But if you're wired differently and you're a saver, that would have been terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong, because in the money culture, we tend to put you in a box. Everybody has to do this. Amanda was trained that way. That's why she's not doing that anymore. Okay. Now.
So Ted, can I just quickly say something? I'm so sorry because our time is up. I cannot believe it, but I need to play your video once more. So will you please permit me to play your video again?
Well, I've seen it, but okay.
It's for me and Amanda. Okay, Ted? Here we go.
Hi, I'm Ted McClyman, co-founder and vice president at DreamSmart Behavioral Solutions. Did you know you have superpowers? I mean, you do. People are amazing, and everybody's got their own unique set of superpowers, but they generally don't know what they are, and they never seem to know how to manage them. Your superpowers are what we call your natural behavior. Your natural behavior is who you are. It's how you process information, communicate, spend money, and build relationships. It's your default behavior. How you manage your behavioral superpowers impacts everything you do in life. So it's critical for you to discover, uncover, and unleash who you are or your natural behavior. Join us at DreamSmart Behavioral Solutions and we'll teach you how.
Wow, I love it. I can actually not believe our time is up. I wanted to have your golden nuggets, but we do have your golden nuggets in the video. And maybe I can ask you if you can, on the YouTube channel, go and put your golden nuggets there. I want to say thank you so much, my beautiful guest, for being here. And this is not the last time that we are going to do this money thing. I promise you, this is not the last time. So my beautiful diamond beauties, I hope that you love the show. And my beautiful viewers out there, just think about money, money, money. I want to say, please look after yourself, smile often, and may I ask you, will you have a dance with me? Here we go. Oh, he doesn't want to. Come on. There you go. Bye, everyone.